So hello everyone. Thank you for joining this session from December to remember, as is mentioned also by Microsoft Learn on the page on social. So we're so excited to host our next session today with Ryan. He's a real passionate software developer, architect, as I saw on his profile, and I believe that we're gonna learn new, exciting stuff and knowledge and experience from Ryan. So welcome to Azure Zero to Hero Learning Room on Microsoft Learn. We will be kicking off the session just in several minutes, so gonna talk a little bit about the learning rooms and Microsoft Learn, and about the future plans. And then I will be handing over the stage to Ryan. So as far as you know about Microsoft Learn, so it's the richest place ever for the contents that are released by Microsoft services and technologies. So anything you're looking for, the career path, learning path, customized learning paths for the plans and the identity you have created for yourself in the future upcoming years. So I always suggest make it your homepage, and that is for us as the enthusiastic and motivated people that we are on this path. So it really matters that every day, every time we open our laptops and browsers, that we see news and updates about the technologies that we follow, and we actually the services we fell in love with from Microsoft. And a little bit about learning rooms. So learning rooms are the small communities within within Microsoft Learn, that it connects experts, learn experts, professionals, students, fresh graduates all together. And within learning rooms, our goal is to bring professionals and having sessions, learning sessions and training sessions. And again, the goal is to connect people together and learn from each other. So we have a code of conduct for the session. So be aware of each other and being friendly and patient, welcoming and respectful to each other, open to all questions and viewpoints, and understanding of differences, and be kind and considerate to others. So I'm gonna stop my sharing screen and hand over the stage to Ryan. So Ryan, thank you for your time for today. You can share your screen.
Okay, so I will share my screen now. Okay. Can can you see my screen now, guys? My slide presentation.
Yes, it's working.
Okay, so great. So yeah, first of all, I would like to thank you guys for having me here. I also appreciate everyone who has joined my session today. So again, my name is Ryan, proud father of two amazing children, originally from the Philippines, and I am currently living here in Germany and working at ISD Phoenix as software development lead slash software architect. I have been in software development fields for almost 2 decades now. I mostly work with different platforms and frameworks. Yeah, I am here because I started this teach to learn journey this year, just this year. And Since I am very particular with serverless technologies, I have selected this Azure Serverless technologies topic to discuss today. So, and wait, let's just. So, if you want to support me with my Teach to Learn journey, you can subscribe to my channel and Facebook pages and Medium posts. Also, you can follow me there if you want to support me. Okay, so my agenda. Here are the agendas that I will be. Here's what you can expect for this session. I think this will not be long. I think so because I will just briefly discuss different serverless. What is serverless computing? Why do we need serverless computing? And I will briefly explore. I will briefly show you different common Azure serverless solutions that you can use for your current and future project. And I will also do a quick demo, probably for using Azure functions. Actually, I plan to do a demo for container apps, but I think I'm not sure if I can do that now. And if we still have time, we will use the remaining time for the Q&A, and I will try to answer all the questions that I based on my knowledge. So yeah, so let's start with identifying what is serverless. So basically serverless is just a kind of continuation of a trend that's been going in the cloud to help development team to stop focusing on certain pieces of infrastructures that may not be unique to the platform, or some other important parts of the project. So developers will be able to just focus on their what really matters on their plate, or so based on their daily tasks, which of course based on the business requirements. So that's the ultimate target result of the serverless concept. So serverless computing eliminates the developers, like what I have mentioned. It eliminates the need for developers to manage the underlying infrastructure, which reduces operational overhead, and it also automatically scales the resources based on demand. So applications can handle the traffic spikes without requiring manual interventions. Serverless computing also can also support rapid changes of business requirements because of the automatic scaling, and can improve application performance by reducing the latency between application and resources that are currently in use. So to give you what they call this, to give you more insights about the power of serverless computing. So let's have a look. Let's have a quick comparison between serverless and traditional computing. So as you can see in my first bullet point, which I already mentioned multiple times now, so the developers can just ignore any server and infrastructure settings or configuration if they need if they are required to do that. So but in traditional computing, well, yeah, we are all, or developers can still needs to adjust their own servers based on their needs. The next one is automatically assign resources according to demand. So according to the demand. So in traditional computing, this is not automatic. You are still, if you, let's say, for example, for a traffic or a big traffic of your web application. So if your application is failing, so you need to increase that. Uh, you need to increase something or decrease something for your server. And the last bullet point here that I've added is, well, the most important power of serverless computing is like you will only pay for the resources that is really running, or that is really being executed or being used. Uh, and if you compare that to the traditional computing, so it will there will always be a fixed amount that you need to pay, because yeah, that's the yeah, you need to pay something for that, even if the APA, if even if the resource or server is not being used. And to support that statement from the previous slide, so let's say, for example, we have this backend service API. So both are just returning a simple JSON response, but they are billing in a different way. So let's say, for example, on the left side, we have this API which are just using function apps, which is a serverless function apps, which um, in serverless computing, you will only be charged for how long this API was running to get the result, which in my example here, it only took 100 milliseconds. So I think this will not really a big amount if you if you if you compute the cost that will be that you need to pay. And I'm sure maybe you will not get charged for this one. And but in the typical let's say ASP.NET Core Web API project, so you will be charged for how long the server is active or running. Disregard if this API is not being executed or being called by different client applications. So you will so in this example you will be charged for 3 days, even if even if your codes or application is not really being used. So maybe in this comparison, I'm sure you will immediately see the power of serverless when it comes to cost efficiency, right? So so yeah, so having all the statements that I have said, so I think I am ready to proceed with Azure Serverless technology. So let's have a look at the Microsoft Azure that let's have a look for this serverless technologies that we can use for our future and current applications. So yeah, Microsoft has a bunch of serverless technologies and serverless offerings that we can use not only just for compute or databases, but also for some business aspects as well. So I have just listed here the common ones that you will probably start checking out. So the first one on my list is Azure Container Apps, which actually I supposed to have a quick demo, like what I had mentioned. I supposed to have a quick demo for this one, but I just realized that this will take time and much better if I will have a separate session about this. So yeah, Azure. What is Azure Container Apps? This is a serverless platform that allows you to maintain less infrastructure and save cost while running containerized applications. So yeah, well, instead of worrying about server configurations, container orchestrations, and development details, so you may want to just use this. So imagine if you are working with, maybe you can relate if you can see the what you call this the you will appreciate this if you are currently working with Kubernetes. So this is really powerful, or yeah, easy to use. And yeah, the next one we have, I have also added here on my list is Azure Functions, which I will probably do. I wish I will probably do some demo with this. So Azure Function App is which Azure Function App can provide a server is a serverless compute that can be invoked by a trigger such as HTTP endpoints or timer to execute a block of codes or business logic. So it can also support specialized bindings that connect to resources like storage and queues, like yeah, the blob storage. You can also integrate that there. So yeah, I have a simple function app projects so that I can show you later. And so what do we have here? So logic apps, these logic apps um, that can provide a serverless engine to build automated workflows to integrate apps and data between cloud services and on premises. So I don't have any example for this one, but yeah. Um, Event grid. So this can provide serverless infrastructure for event-based applications. So you can publish to event you can publish to event grid from any source of consume messages from any platform. So I have slides that will show different serverless design or sample serverless design. So I also have different slides for that one. I will show you. Azure application insights. So I'm sure we are all familiar with this one, but Azure Serverless Insights is a serverless diagnostics platforms that enables developers to detect and diagnose issues in the web apps, mobile apps, even desktop application and microservices. You can just enable this by just going to the Azure portal, and yeah, there's a switch there where you can just turn this on. And the last one here, which I always use this for some quiet time. But yeah, Azure Cosmos DB is a globally distributed, low latency multimodal database for managing data at large scale. So this is a cloud-based NoSQL database offered as a platform as a service from Azure. So so this is just a sample graph that might give you also a good insight on how the serverless is being billed or being charged based on the consumption. So as you can see here in this graph, you will see that you will be charged if there are lots of requests coming in which it is equivalent to CPU usage. So let's say, for example, from 11 a.m. from 11 a.m. to 12 a.m., the request has been going up. So it is literally scaling your instance regarding to the demand that needs to regarding to the demand of this instance. So and on the same token, if there are no requests coming in, so your instance will be scaled down to one and will stay in inactive state until there are really no requests coming, in which your instance will be on pause state, which means you will not be charged for anything. So that's really a good feature. Well, that's the really most what they call this. That's the main what do you call this main good features of serverless for not charging you anything if it's not really doing something. Yeah, so I have here, like what I have said, well, there are lots of design patterns that exist for serverless, so you can research that on the internet and choose what's really best for your scenario. So in here, I have this schedule task. So this is a command function. Well, the diagram just shows that we have this Azure functions, which is being like a timer functions that will check the, let's say, this image in the middle is the like a old database which has a invalid data, or what do you call this um which has bad data inside. So this Azure function can be triggered and do something in every 15 minutes and come up with the process to clean this database or table. Another serverless design example that I have here is the CQRS. You can take advantages using Azure functions here. So in this diagram, so we you have this client request that will just pass to your Azure functions, and it will just read that data from the flat table. So you it's like in this diagram, you can have two function app running for this design. So this is straightforward. So if you have an event, if you have your commands can have different function to process. And in this diagram, you have in your event, you have this database that will connect to your transactional DB. And once this DB is updated, it will just update the flat table. Yeah, the flat table that needs to be read for your query request. So for the event-based processing, so this is also straightforward. This is also possible. You can also have this Azure Function app, which will just send a message to your Azure event grid, then do something for that message. It's in this diagram. It will just pass to Azure App Logic, Azure Logic apps to execute something. And for this design example, actually there are lots of design that you can do using serverless approach or serverless architecture. You can use different a pattern for this one. But yeah, I just researched about this, which I think it's really good to share. So in this design, so we have this file triggers and transformation design. So in this one, we only have this FTP download manager function, which triggered our this which triggers the Azure functions to do a chain process and get the expected result. And for this next one, so web apps and API, so this is very common. So most of the time you are, if you are, let's say for example, if you have CRUD functionality, so you will just have different HTTP trigger function up for that one. So that the client application will consume. So this the common scenario also. Data pipeline. So for this data pipeline, so server it can have these functions that that can be used to facilitate a data pipeline. In this example, a file triggers a function to translate a CSV file to data rows and tables. So you can yeah, you can integrate this with Power BI dashboard to represent analytics to the end user. So the API gateway, which is one of my favorite serverless design for this is, yeah. So having an API gateway design, so it's like you have this single endpoint for any client requests and routes that to different Azure functions based on the request. So yeah, actually, that's the all for my slide presentations. I am going to do some quick demo for using Azure functions. If there is there any questions that I can answer now before going to my quick demo? Okay, so since there's no response, I will just continue doing the demo. So yeah, as I have mentioned here earlier, I have already prepared some example function app uh, application. So I have here a CRUD functionality where I am just fetching different HTTP response or HTTP requests. And in this example, I am fetching the get and post request, which because this is for creating and adding data to the database. And that's the same way of making of creating for update and delete. So I'm just fetching this HTTP request methods and do something inside. And yeah, but this is just a really basic example. You can organize your code based on your coding standard. Um, I also have here a simple HTTP client factory. Let me just run this real quick. Okay. Okay. Okay, so a simple like this. So we have this endpoint. That's endpoint where we can just call it inside the application. Let me just get some browser. And yeah, it will just return the response that I'm returning here. Actually, this is based on the so, sample data that I have. But I think I don't need to show that to explain that well, because this is already built. Maybe much better if I create a new function app, and you can just do that here. Uh, and let's just stop that. Actually, before you start working with Azure function locally, you need to install the SDK, Azure SDK, to enable the Azure function capability. So let's just try to create that. Select Azure functions, and let's just leave that way. And here, yeah, I don't have the .NET 8.0 yet, but it's already that's already available for Azure functions. You can already use that. And yeah, so let's just use this Q trigger. There's a lot of triggers and events here that you can try, or that you can use for your project. So you can also take advantages of this Rabbit MQ trigger if you are working with event-driven architecture or event-driven uh, application. So you can also work with Signal R, which is really good. You can also have this SQL trigger, if you're familiar with SQL trigger, where it automatically updates your tables based on the updates that you are doing for your tables. So yeah, you can play around with these different triggers, but in this, for the sake of this demo, I will just use this Q trigger. And yeah, and since I have this Azure SDK, you can, I this will Visual Studio will automatically ask me about this dependency, which is I already have. Okay, next. Okay, let's just cancel that and go directly here. Oh, there's a question. Just send your ah. Okay. So the first thing that you will see is the template, which is generated for you by Visual Studio. We can just run this right away to make sure. No, I have selected the wrong project. Let me just switch on that one. Okay. So I also downloaded this storage explorer. You can download this also for your local development. And yeah, so I have this Q trigger now. So let's just put this. Let's just add breakpoint here so that we will see if we add some message here, this should be yeah, this should be triggered also. So queues. So let's I know here. Sorry, queues. Then let's try to add test. So as you can see, it automatically triggers this Azure function up. So you can imagine, or you can explore how this capability of Azure function app fits for your project, for your future project. So, but the purpose of my demo is just to show this simple capability that will help you somehow. So let's just check this. Okay. So let's say you have already created a function app. So of course the next thing that you need to do is that you need to know is to how we are going to upload this or deploy this. So of course in actual development you have automation, DevOps automations to deploy this in your environment. But for the sake of this demo, I will just show you the manual way, which is you can just publish this like what we are doing um, for normal web API project or Azure or ASP.NET Core Web API. So you have four options here, but usually I only touch this option one and this import profile uh, method. So in this import profile, you will get the publishing profile like what we have um, for Web API ASP.NET. And I'm sure some of you are already familiar with that. But let's try to upload this. Windows. And in my case, I need to relog in. Let me just relog in my credential. Give me a second. I need to relog in my account. Okay. Okay. There's a lot of validation, but let me just cancel that. I guess I don't have time to do that now. So, but basically, once you log in, it will just listed all the resource group that you created in your Azure portal. This is just for the sake of others that are not familiar yet for this publish method, publish menu inside Visual Studio. So what else can I say? Hmm, I think that's all for my demo. So maybe if you guys have questions, we can talk about we can talk about now. So that I will try to answer everything now.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ryan. It was an amazing session. So if anyone has any question, you can write in the chat, or we can just enable your microphone. You can ask your question. I see a question from Mohsen.
Yeah, first of all, thank you, Ryan, for a great presentation. And actually, I have a question about the serverless. First of all, as you know, we have a web app in Azure. Is it serverless? If yes, how to choose between Azure Function or Azure Web App, and what is the important to make a decision which solution to take, Azure Web App or Azure Function as a serverless solution.
Okay, so maybe if you want to if maybe the decision for that one is, if let's say for example, if you have this API which will be triggered every 50 minutes, or if you have this process occurring process, so I think serverless will not be ideal, because let's say for example every 15 minutes the API will be triggered. So the concept for serverless is, when uh once your code, or once your implementation is being executed, you will be charged for that one. So imagine if the API is constantly being triggered, the serverless billing pricing tier it doesn't make sense, because I'm sure you will get charged bigger than the normal serverless API. So but if you, let's say for example, you have this simple API or simple application that are not really being used always. So let's say for example the traffic of your web application is not that high for this month, and for the next month you are expecting a high volume of requests or HTTP traffic, then I think a serverless functions, or serverless offerings will be the best case for you, because it will automatically scales down, or automatically scales up, up and down, based on the needs of your application. So, and if you remember my comparison, uh let me just pull my uh slide presentation again. Can you still uh see my screen? So yeah, so if you will check this again, so if you have APIs, so let's say for example we are just getting this JSON object. uh I think you can see that what I'm trying to say, if your API is not always being used, I think it is based to for you to go for serverless. So yeah, I hope I answered your question in that way.
Amazing. We have also a question from Kunal. Kunal, your microphone is already enabled. You can just unmute yourself and ask question.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, hey, hi Ryan. Thank you so much for the great presentation. I'm new to this area, so it has really been helpful to have this. So thank you. Okay, I have two questions. One is that while like we have linked our function apps with the DevOps, and whenever we check in our function apps, then it shows us three different types of files. One is .cs file, which is C# file, and another one is publish profiles, and then service dependencies and properties. We're not able to figure it out that apart from the .cs file, shall we check in the publish profiles and service dependencies and the properties to DevOps, or should we keep those files in our local systems? What does those basically means?
Wait. Are you talking about inside Azure DevOps?
Um Not in the DevOps, yeah, maybe yes. Like we
Yeah,
we get all our development done on Visual Studio on C Sharp. And then when we build our project, it generates service dependencies and publish profiles and the actual C sharp files. That was a function itself. So I'm just
actually,
asking that should we check in the publish profiles and the service dependencies to DevOps or not?
no, you don't need to push that publishing profile, because you can always get that from the Azure portal. So I don't see. Well, maybe if for other developers or resource in your team that that don't want to do that manually, or don't want to log into your Azure portal tenant and just want to just continue uploading or deploying your changes, so they can just use that publishing profile for what you call this, for shortcut, for doing some shortcut for, yeah, for deploying your Azure functions. But I don't really recommend to push that in your repository, that publishing profile.
Okay, we have another set of files which is called service dependencies. What does that mean basically?
Actually, that service dependency, I think that's from your what do you call this, from your automation server. I'm not really sure for that file. Maybe I'm wrong. So yeah.
Okay, no problem. Okay, there's another question that lately Azure Function 3.x version got obsoleted, and we have to move to version 4.x. So could you elaborate a little process on how to do that?
Actually, the good thing now is in Visual Studio. Are you familiar with this optional where you can just wait? Where's that upgrade? Ah, here. So
Hmm.
if you want to upgrade something, of upgrade the old version, you can take advantage of this upgrade assistant. So this will be a good for a solution for your question, I think. So let's say here I am using this one 6, so I can just upgrade that to the latest version. But this will have wizard steps that you can just follow.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Amazing. Any other questions? Just feel free to write in the chat or raise your hand. We'll open your microphone. Hey.
Oh, I see some I see attendees from my country, which is Cayetano and Nino. So I know him personally. I just want to shout out
That's
that guy.
nice. Cool. I see he also sent the reaction to the. So if you have any questions, yeah, you can open the microphone for you, or if you want to also say hi.
Oh, is the AWS? I'm not confident answering that, Ned. Sorry, but yeah, maybe I can answer it. Just, yeah, give it a try. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
I will try to open your microphone. And just a second.
Yes.
Okay, now you can unmute.
Yes, hello. Good morning, guys. Maybe you are familiar with this one, but a friend of mine reached out and asks if what would we do if there is a client, then a client has an existing POS system. This system, I don't know, I haven't seen it yet. So according to him, it's already built up. So for me, that as a developer, how would I know um which better way to deploy the application? Should I choose like a container system or a serverless system? I believe it's equivalent for AWS is either a Lambda functionality, which is I believe is a serverless in the sense that it's not managed by the developers or the client, and another is Fargate. Oh, sorry. So EC2 is the one that I believe that will be used for creating containers for deploying the application. I think there's a counterpart for Microsoft for that one, and then another is Fargate, which is a serverless. I believe it's a serverless implementation, which is also a container for deploying the application. So in this case, if you are if a client reaches out to you that has that has an already made application, what would you suggest he chooses? a serverless one or not?
Well, it depends on the type of applications that they currently have. So so like what I have presented. So if the application doesn't have any recurring processes or continuous processes behind the scenes, I think it makes sense that you will go to serverless because if let's put this in mind. Put this in mind. So if this code of mine, this implementation of mine doesn't do anything, do you want to be charged for that one, or do you want to get it free? So maybe you can explain that to your customer. So maybe you can tell that customer that it will be cost efficient if we will just maybe if we will just use the serverless computing if your APIs is not being it's not being active or it's not running. So but I'm sure that that current application or yeah that current application is a little bit big. So I'm sure you guys need to split that up to maybe re-architecting that application to split it in a small pieces of service. So it depends. So maybe if it depends on the application, I really cannot see the whole picture of that applications. But maybe my point there is that you can explain that if your applications is not running or is not intended or is not expecting to run or being active for a week, so maybe it's a better choice to use this serverless computing approach or serverless capability. So it depends.
Thank you. I think that makes sense.
Great. We
But
have,
yeah.
yes, go on, please. Yes, sorry.
No, it's okay. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks for the question. And our next question coming from Said.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the session, Ryan. It was really nice to hear about this cool feature on Azure. The question that I have, kinda, it's included this topic and maybe it's not included, but because I know it's a different story on the functions, but I would like to hear about durable functions on Azure apps.
Mhm.
If you can some kinda in general explain it to us, because I know it's a very useful functions that we can use in Azure apps.
Yeah, actually, that's I forgot to add that in my slide presentation. But yeah, so durable function is like if you have this chain processes, you can do that. You can work on that durable function. So it's a series or it's a collections of processes inside one function. So for example, if you will have one functions that will trigger a chain processes in the middle, and durable function can wait for all of that processes to be finished before sending the result to the another function app. So there's a different what they call this architecture working with or approach for durable functions. Let me just find my example presentation for that one. Let me just okay, sorry to open different slides. So here, so with durable functions, you have different workflow and orchestration. You can have this messaging manageable sequence. So it will chain processes. This is the other one, fanning out, fanning in, which I just explained. You can also have this human interaction durable function where there's some kind of like approval processes along the way. You can also have this what we call this events correlation and this process monitoring as well. And this one is the most common one, which is the HTTP based async long running API. So yeah, I think I hope I
Perfect.
hope
Thank you.
I answered your question, side.
Yeah. Was perfect. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Any other questions, either in the chat or if anyone wants to ask the question, you can enable the microphone. Okay, yeah, I think that's it. Amazing. Thank you so much, Ryan, for this wonderful session. We learned a lot from the knowledge and your experience you shared. That was so rich, actually, either with the slides or the explanations you made. So I want to thank also for Microsoft Learn and our Azure Zero to Hero community, and also Learn experts, Mohsen and Said from the management team. So that was amazing. We are hoping to see you in the next session, which will be also next week. We will be sharing information on socials, on Zero to Hero channels and Learning Room, LinkedIn, and also the recorded videos will be published immediately after each session on YouTube. So stay tuned, and wishing to see you in the next sessions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you,
Thank you
Ryan.
all. Bye bye.